Hello, friends. It's me, Ioanna. Welcome back to Moment of Truth, a video podcast on YouTube where we talk about life and we give you pieces of advice that you never asked for. Joining me today, of course, is
Mon!
sadly, this is the last episode for Moment of Truth. Charing lang. It's April Fools. Happy April Fools.
Hindi ako informed, hayop ka.
Personally, I take all announcements on April Fools with skepticism. It's hard to take anything seriously because almost everything is fake.
Previous years, I did not talk to people on April Fools. I don't trust people.
Was there ever a time that you were pranked on April Fools?
I was told that there was a meeting. I have a schedule to go far south. And I went and I got lost.
A lot of people hate April Fools because some of the pranks are really cruel, just like the first story. So my wife suspected me and her best friend of having an affair when we were on a break last year. Truth is, we started it, but stopped after a few minutes of kissing. We knew it was wrong and both stopped. We never told my wife though, despite her having her suspicions. We did go out a lot as we both needed each other in that time and didn't have anyone else. So I made her friend, April, tell her she was pregnant with my baby. And it backfired spectacularly. Even after we told my wife it was a joke. She accuses us of trying or joke our way to confessing and she's sure we cheated.
Women's intuition.
Am I the a-hole for telling her on April Fools that her best friend was pregnant with my baby?
Yes. I think you crossed some line.
It's because your wife has some wounds to heal and you just added salt to it. Very good. Thanks so much for the trauma. I hope you let her go and let her find true love.
50% of assets, kind of love.
Well deserved. The first story was short. There is a longer version that the guy posted in a different subreddit. If you want to read that story, I will post the link on the description. I have never been pranked, but do you remember the time when Gmail first launched in April 1st, early 2000s?
I wasn't born yet.
When Gmail first launched in April 1st, early 2000s, they were giving away 1 gigabyte of storage for free. Our generation was so deprived of storage space. I thought it was fake, but it turned out to be true.
Now it's 15 gig per
It is 15
account.
gig. What a time to be alive. In our next story is the situation. What if the announcement is actually true? So my wife and I play very extreme pranks on each other. Like next level awful. My dad was in hospital for cancer treatment and she was in the hospital area. She prank called me and told me he had died. I got to the hospital and they both were laughing. It didn't upset me.
It upset me.
My heart. Clearly, they married their best friends.
Yes.
It didn't upset me or piss me off or anything. And it's actually my favorite remaining memory of him.
That's sweet.
No.
Question mark?
Just putting that story here to provide some context to our relationship and how extreme our jokes can be. Well, on April Fools this year, I was home and my wife was out when I got a message from her saying her water had broken. That's funny, I thought. She's not due for another 5 weeks. But, oh well, she's just joking. I put my phone down and continued to do my work. I saw another message from her, but I thought she was joking still. I mean, it's April Fools. And it wasn't until I saw my sister-in-law calling and decided to answer. She then proceeded to scream at me as my wife is now in the hospital and about to have our first child.
Imagine the wife in serious pain but also laughing.
Well, regardless if she was joking or not, I jumped in my car and drove down.
You should have done that the first way. Because it's better to be safe. You were laughed at, but everyone was safe. But also, I understand why you had that kind of reaction.
Well, she wasn't joking. After a few long hours and a billion apologies to my wife, she said, "It was fine. It was fine."
Gotcha.
Happy April Fools! She actually seemed to find it quite funny and said, "I inspired her for the next baby." What do you mean? But I should have known. She wouldn't pick a day as obvious as April Fool's. My wife seemed fine with it. But my sister-in-law was livid at me. I'm pretty sure I know the answer here, but Reddit. Am I the a-hole for thinking my wife was lying about going into labor?
6 episodes in, this is the hardest am I the asshole question. Because right now, I don't know who's the a-hole.
It's
Is
the
it the
baby.
husband? It's the baby.
It's the baby. The universe apparently decided to join in with the pranks and decided that instead of 5 weeks later, let's bring the kid out on April Fools. And now your kid, the kid will always have to deal with justifying that it is his birthday. What if nobody attends the kid's birthday because they think it's a prank?
Or everybody attends a birthday that was actually a prank.
I don't like to disregard birthday announcements on April Fools. Because what if? What if it's true? How about breakups? Do you tell your family and friends when you and your partner have broken up?
If they're closed already with the said partner, I'd have to tell them. I will need at least 7 business days. If you were nearby, I will tell you personally. How about you?
When my ex and I broke up, I just waited for the next girl to tag him in their happy photos.
I actually never realized that that's what happened.
I don't know if it's the same thing with other countries, but here in the Philippines, it's quite common to make the Facebook relationship status change from in a relationship to it's complicated.
Oh my god. You okay? Chew. Chew, girl.
These are all Filipino chips.
Shits, yeah.
Can you tell what are these? Yesterday, I got a group text from my wife Sarah's side of the family stating there was an emergency family meeting happening that night at my mother-in-law Barb's house. I immediately had April Fool's spidey senses starting to tingle. Do not ignore the tingle. But we haven't got together since Christmas, so I overlooked it and said we, my wife and I, were in. We were the last to arrive, and it was pretty somber when we walked in. We all sat down at the table, and my wife's brother, Tim, informed the family that his wife, Ashley, has been having an affair, and they are divorcing. The affair was with a long-time close family friend, Chris, who lived a block away. Chris's wife, Jen, had caught them when she came home early one day last week and broke the news to my brother-in-law, Tim. Both families have been friends for years. They live less than a block from each other. They each have been married for more than 15 years and have 4 kids right around the same age. Honestly, I have thought both of them were picture-perfect families. Hell, all 4 of them and their kids were at our house 2 weeks ago for a barbecue. Anyways, after airing a lot of dirty laundry and their plans to divorce, how it could affect future family functions, and opening it up to the group for any questions, there was silence. If you were in that meeting, what would you ask?
April Fools.
I broke the silence with laughter and a slow clap.
No.
Saying, this was the best April Fool's gig I've ever seen. But I wasn't falling for it. I told Ashley, especially Tim, they need to consider going into theater. Their performance were top notch, and the tears seemed genuine.
If that was an actual April Fool's.
Being the newest member of the family, my wife and I married 6 months ago. This probably wasn't the best thing to say in hindsight. I probably should have not said anything. Everyone in the room looked horrified. My mother-in-law, who had been crying the entire time, lost all composure. She left the room in hysterics and did not return before we left. Tim just shook his head. And his cheating wife actually let out a brief chuckle before calling me out for being a dumbass, for thinking this was a ruse, then berating me for being so insensitive. Ashley, you're the one who put your family in this situation.
In our defense, it is April 1.
Couldn't you have chosen a more convenient time? The rest of the family sat in silence, shaking their heads, as my wife berated me for trying to make a joke out of a serious situation. I am still dumbfounded. In hindsight, I probably should have sat in silence. But honestly, still feel like I was calling out an April Fool's gag. Am I the a-hole for thinking a divorce announcement due to an affair was an April Fool's joke?
Completely reasonable. No bias. He was giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, like it's impossible. You guys cheated. Besides, who would make a gathering out of a breakup?
I would laugh.
Yeah, me too.
I don't.
Their marriage was the joke.
I will also be. I wanna read more personal April Fool's stories.
Comment your
Best April Fool's experience.
yes. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like today's stories. And subscribe so we can see you again in the next video. Thank you so much for bonding with us today. Bye-bye.
Bye.